Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is in celebration of National Fragrance Day, which happens to be today. So I'm going to be sharing 10 of the best sweet fragrances. And I want to preface this by saying that I don't really love perfumes that are too sweet. If it's cloyingly sweet, it can sometimes induce a headache. I find it to be a bit artificial, sometimes adolescent. That is not the case here. These are not 10 of the sweetest fragrances available, but they are 10 of the best smelling perfumes that happen to be a bit sweet. But it is a very balanced sweetness. You will still smell very sophisticated and elegant with a sprinkle of sugar. I'm starting with Sensual Instinct from Montal. I think this would be an incredible date night fragrance. It truly is sensual, but it's also a little bit sweet, especially right off the top, but the sweetness lingers throughout the fragrance and it is still very sophisticated. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you've heard me mention this fragrance for a while now because it's been on my wish list ever since I discovered this in the Montal Discovery set. This bottle was sent to me from Twisted Lily Fragrance Boutique. They're based in Brooklyn, New York, and they have one of the most extensive selections of really exclusive, hard-to-find niche fragrances. Unfortunately, they had to close their doors last March due to COVID, but they have since revamped their website, and it's amazing. They have just about everything, and I am delighted to share that I've partnered with them as an affiliate. That way I can offer you guys an ongoing coupon code for 10% off your entire purchase from Twisted Lily every time you shop. I know how painfully expensive niche fragrances can be, so anytime you can save a couple bucks, I think that is well worth it. So I will always link to them when possible, and all of the information will be down in the description box in case you're interested. Key notes in Sensual Instinct are roasted coffee beans, praline, rose, oak moss, amber, and cedar. So the sweetness definitely comes from the praline. I think it's intensified by the cedar and amber. It gives it that warmth, that sensuality. But then it's so sophisticated because it has that touch of rose. It really grounds the fragrance. It's so beautiful. I think this could be potentially a signature scent. And even though I did say it would be perfect for date night, it's not so dark and heavy. It's not incredibly intense. You could absolutely wear this daytime if you like, especially if you like something a little bit sweet, a little flirty during the day. I've heard this fragrance compared to Bakra Rouge 540. There are some similarities. They're very different, but I think if you like the appeal of Bakra Rouge 540, but maybe you're not ready to jump on that hype train, you want something a little bit different, Sensual Instinct is like that mysterious, distant second cousin. It doesn't have the same cotton candy sweetness of Bakra Rouge 540, but they are similar, maybe inspired by. Since I just mentioned Bakra, next I have Bakra Rouge 540, the Extrait, as opposed to the Eau de Parfum, which you've heard me rave about for such a long time. And this also came from Twisted Lily Fragrance Boutique, and I am planning to do a comparison video. I know there are already so many out there, so let me know if that's something that would interest you. If you would like, I can do an in-depth side-by-side comparison between Bakra Rouge 540 EDP and the Extrait de Parfum. This is the one that makes the list because it is a bit more bold and intense. Keynotes include Egyptian jasmine, saffron, bitter almond from Morocco, cedarwood, musky woody accord, and ambergris. So nice. It is such an intoxicating fragrance, just like the original Bakra Rouge 540. It's not candy sweet. I get a little black cherry in there. It's stunning. So sophisticated. Now this is more of an evening, date night, special occasion type of fragrance. I personally wouldn't choose to wear this during the day. Of course you could. And both Bakra Rouge 540 and the Extrait are considered to be unisex. But it's not overly masculine, even though you definitely get that woody accord, the cedar. To me, it's just a more refined version of the original, and you do get a touch of sweetness, but it's not the same cotton candy vanilla sugar note that's in Bakra Rouge 540. It's a little bit less in your face. I think there's something really nice about that. It's a little bit more smooth. Next we have Reckless, Essence de Parfum. This is from Rouge. Just look at this bottle. The name, it is so opulent, so luxurious, so heavy, but incredibly beautiful, just like the fragrance. Now this one leans a little bit more sweet than some of the others on the list, and it is very sexy and interesting, and it almost catches you off guard when you first smell it, but the beauty is truly in the dry down of this parfum. Top notes are bergamot, mandarin, and orange. Heart notes are geranium, rose de may, neroli, jasmine de grasse. Base notes include coriander, pink pepper, cinnamon, sandalwood, benzoin, vanilla, styrax, and musk. That mister is perfection. I love a fine mist. Just adds to the luxury of the experience of simply spraying the perfume. Amazing. It's a little bit fresh and airy and citric right off the top, but of course the dry down, you get a lot of that vanilla, the benzoin. It has the rose. It's so beautiful. The first time I sprayed this, it reminded me so much of Hypnotic Poison from Dior. I think if you love that fragrance, you will probably really like this. They're very different, but it's just kind of that same family, that intoxicating, a little bit sweet, but very sensual. And it gets yummier and yummier as it dries down. This is so different from most of the fragrances in my collection. It just smells like a special occasion. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, what you're wearing, who you're with, it's going to be really special. It elevates the moment. I just picture getting really dressed up and going out for a fabulous night on the town, or maybe it's a date night somewhere really special, a special occasion, an anniversary, birthday, that sort of thing. Just feel like you have to be dressy whenever you wear this fragrance. This is hands down one of the most feminine fragrances in my collection. When you smell it, it is just so soft and dainty. Yes, it's a little bit sexy and sensual, but it is just so feminine. Since I just referenced it and here it is on the list, let's go ahead and talk about it next. Dior Hypnotic Poison, the classic, iconic perfume. It does not matter how old this is. I know it's been around for a really long time. Every time I smell it, I think it is amazing. It is, to this day, one of the most complimented fragrances I wear. It's such a head turner. It just captures people's attention. They have no other choice but to smell you whenever you're around them. I think this is a very sensual evening perfume, and it's also pretty sweet. It's described as mysterious, mesmerizing, extravagant, and bewitching. Keynotes include bitter almond, caraway spice, sambac jasmine, cinnamon, tuberose, vanilla, musk, and mosses. It's a very sweet and sophisticated almond vanilla fragrance. Really nice. It's not baked goods and it's not candy sweetness. It's not too biting, but the sweetness is definitely there. But it's beautiful, and the dry down is so nice. I really love vanilla. I love almond in my fragrances. It's so yummy, but it has those other things, the spices and the moss. So there's this mysterious element that you can't quite put your finger on. You just know it smells really good. Here's another one of my most complimented fragrances that does lean a little bit sweet. It's Mon Guerlain Intense. I love this perfume. I discovered this a couple months ago from a little sample. I think I received a couple samples from a Guerlain purchase, and I wore this a few times in front of my husband, and every time he would just go crazy for this perfume. He would say, "Oh my goodness, you smell so amazing. What is that? Oh, it's so nice." And the first time, of course, I thought he was just kind of buttering me up for some reason. I had no idea why he was giving me such a strong reaction, because there is nothing that I wear, nothing in my collection that gets that type of reaction. And that is truly the desired reaction. So of course I had no choice but to purchase. And this jumbo size was the only size available. So I got the largest bottle. It's categorized as warm and spicy with keynotes of lavender, vanilla, and patchouli. It was inspired by Angelina Jolie and the many facets of femininity. I also like the original Mon Guerlain. If you don't like a perfume that's really intense, you might want to try the original, but this version does kind of take your breath away. It's so nice. Okay. Another fine mister. I love it. Such a stunning fragrance. It's so beautiful. Off the top, you get that sweetness right away. It's a lot of sweet lavender, and then the dry down gets that warmth from the vanilla. It's so sophisticated. It's very beautiful, so feminine. Even though it's intense, I think you could potentially wear this anytime. You could wear this any season, day or night. This is signature scent worthy. It's a very special perfume. There's a depth and a spiciness in the intense version that you don't get in the original. So if you like something that's a little bit more complex, a little bit more interesting, the Mon Guerlain Intense is right for you. And I saw recently, I think they came out with another interpretation. I need to try it out because I love this entire line. They're all really good. The next sweet perfume from my collection is Valentino Vetiver. And what I love about this perfume, and really all of the perfumes on this list, is that yes, they are a little bit sweet, but it's not really the defining characteristic. There is so much more to this perfume, just like there is so much more to all of these fragrances. There are some perfumes out there that are sickeningly sweet, and that's really all you get. That would be the one word you would use to describe them. These are far more complex. I think there's much more here. Voce Viva is a warm floral with keynotes of Italian bergamot, orange blossom absolute, and a crystal moss accord. The scent is an ode to Valentino's femininity, and it also has gardenia and vanilla. It's so bright and playful right off the top. You get that burst of citrus and sweetness, definitely. It's one of those fragrances that isn't necessarily going to be a huge standout along the fragrance wall. I think if you were smelling a bunch of fragrances, including Voce Viva, it might not really stand out to you as being something unique. But as it dries down, it smells so nice. This is one of the classiest, fanciest smelling fragrances. This fragrance is a bit softer over time, so somebody has to be a little bit closer to you to really pick up on it. It's more of a skin scent or a personal fragrance. It's not going to have a ton of projection, so you're not really going to knock anybody's socks off whenever you walk into the room. But I think because of that, it makes it very appropriate for different scenarios. You could wear this daytime. You could also wear it for a date night. And I also think it's kind of seasonless as well. You could wear this year-round. So beautiful. I love the bottle. It's the little things, but the bottle design is really cute. It's very chic. Next I have Tom Ford Lost Cherry. This is my favorite Tom Ford fragrance. This is a bit warm and cozy, so I like to save this for fall, winter, when it's a little bit colder outside, or at least when you're trying to get into that mindset. I probably won't be getting a ton of use out of this because it's already so hot outside. Summer is here, even though it's only spring break. It's a sweet gourmand with keynotes of black cherry accord, bitter almond, rose absolute, Peru balsam, and roasted tonka. Ah, so nice. It almost smells like a sweet cherry cordial, one of those little candies right off the top, like those chocolate-covered cherries that you get around the holidays. The way that tastes is kind of how this smells, and it does smell delicious. I wish there was something edible, like a piece of candy or a piece of food that tasted the way this smells. I think of those really fancy desserts because you get that vanilla and the almond, and it smells like a baked good. It's really, really beautiful. Baked good, but the fancy version, the expensive version, because this is the uber luxe price point from Tom Ford. So it's pretty pricey. Another reason why I like to save Lost Cherry. This might be the sweetest fragrance on the list because it's a bit syrupy. It almost has that candy, biting, sugary sweetness, but it immediately dries down, and I am personally left with a lot of vanilla. After several hours, it's basically the only note left. I just smell a very intense vanilla, and it's so nice. If you really love cherry almond flavored things, I think you will probably appreciate Lost Cherry. And I'm so happy they came out with a little value set that I was able to pick up from, well, it was at Sephora. I ended up picking up mine from Macy's. They have the travel spray. They launched a candle. Do they have a body spray? I'm not sure. But they released different sizes of the fragrance, which is nice because that way, if you don't want to spend $350 on the 50 ml, you can go ahead and get the travel size. Convenient sizes are never the best value price-wise, but in the case of fragrance, especially if you have a larger collection and you're not going to go through a full-size bottle, it is the better buy. Angel Share by Killian is also more of a fall, winter, sweet gourmand type of fragrance. So nice though. I almost wish I lived in a colder climate. That way I could get more use out of these warm, cozy type of fragrances because it is so beautiful. One of my favorite launches last year. It's warm and spicy with keynotes of cognac, hazelnut, oak wood, tonka bean, cinnamon, with long-lasting notes of sandalwood, praline, and vanilla, which gives it that delicious finish. So nice. And it is a little bit sweet right off the top, but because you have the praline in the base, it's going to stay sweet throughout the life of the fragrance. And it has that vanilla, cinnamon, hazelnut. Makes me hungry just thinking about it. So it really is like a baked good. With the cognac and the sandalwood, it's just such a balanced fragrance. It's not too sweet. None of these fragrances are too sweet. They're a little bit sweet, kind of piques your interest. Maybe makes your mouth water because of the tonka, but it's never a headache. It's never cloying. It's part of the Liqueurs collection, which is why it comes in this very pretty rocks glass looking bottle, which is so nice to display. And I want to say these are unisex. There were two that launched at the same time, Roses on Ice and Angel Share. And when you just look at the keynotes, you would think that Roses on Ice would be really feminine. But actually, smelling the two side by side, Angel Share is far more feminine, and it's such a rich, intense fragrance. All of the notes are very bold, so you get a lot of vanilla, a lot of cognac, and a lot of the praline, which gives it the sweet yumminess. Last but certainly not least is another Roja Essence de Parfum. This is Elixir. I fell in love with this fragrance. The first time I sprayed it, it just spoke to me. I knew, yes, this is right up my alley. Here I have the little travel spray. Just dainty, feminine. A little bit sweet, but there is something so unique about this fragrance. And it's light and fresh and something that you could wear daytime. But I still think it will turn heads. The description says this magical elixir exudes effortless sensuality, giving you the power to light up a room, to leave an impression, and to get what you want. That is the best way to describe this fragrance. Keynotes include bergamot, lily of the valley, geranium, rose de may, heliotrope, violet, raspberry, peach, cinnamon, cedarwood, vanilla, ambrette, musk in the base. I think it must be the raspberry and peach that give it the sweetness. It's beautiful. I just want to save it and savor it for special occasions, but then part of me wants this to be my new signature scent. And when it dries down, it's even more beautiful. It's kind of soft, fruity, floral, very feminine, bright and interesting. All of those things. I would put this in the same category as maybe beige from Chanel, in that it's so bright and fun, but so classy and elegant. That's what I think of when I smell Elixir. A beautiful fragrance. The first time I wore this, I could not stop smelling my arm. It's so good. And I really struggle to imagine somebody not liking this. It's a crowd pleaser for sure. And that completes my list of favorite sweet fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your favorite sweet fragrances, or if you're wearing something special for National Fragrance Day, drop me a comment. I love reading your recommendations. I take screenshots of all of them, so thank you. Keep them coming. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.